Hello, my people. Good day to you, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whatever time zone you're listening to this, thank you for tuning in every single day to listen to me on Daily Mind Shift. My name is Michael Ojola for Mindset Transformation Africa. And in today's episode, I want us to talk about the power of choice, all right? And it relates to God and the universe, but like we use the universe here, all right? Let me anchor today's episode on this statement. Nothing in the universe can take away your power to choose. Not even you. Nothing in the universe can take away your power to choose. Not even you. I want you to let that sink in for a moment. Don't rush it. Think about what I just said. Now, let us just reveal one or two things, because this is not just some motivational catchphrase, all right? This is a soul level truth that I don't want us to take for granted. One of my favorite quotes comes from Viktor Frankl, the Holocaust survivor and neurologist who wrote Man's Search for Meaning. He said this, and I quote, "Everything can be taken from a man, but one thing, the last of human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances." He said everything can be taken away from a man but one thing, the last of human freedoms, and that is to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances. So when you think about what Frankl went through, imprisonment, suffering, loss, you realize that what he's talking about is not just philosophical fluff. He lived this truth. He discovered that even when stripped of everything, when the world around him turned cruel and dark, there remained one invincible light, and that is the power to choose how he will respond to whatever life is throwing at him. That same light is in you. It is in me. It is in all of us. We often underestimate this power because I think it feels too simple. But don't confuse simple with easy. The choice to think differently, to respond differently, to rise when it will be easier to sit in despair, that is where your transformation starts. That is where it begins. Now, I know what someone might be thinking, but Minister Mike, I don't always have a choice. Life happens to me. Bills happen to me. Breakups, layoffs, disappointments. I don't get to choose those. And you're right. We don't get to choose every circumstances, all right? But we always have a say in how we show up inside that circumstance. That is the difference I'm talking about. The power to choose is not about controlling the world, all right? It is about controlling the world within you. We cannot always control what happens next, but you can always control what happens inside you next. You can't always stop the storm, but you can learn to retain and remain steady while the storm passes by. You can't prevent people from betraying you, but you can choose whether that betrayal becomes a wall around your heart or a lesson that matures your soul. See, there is a dangerous myth that sneaks into our minds. It tells us we are powerless, that we are victims of fate, of family, of background, of race, of gender, of income, or even of trauma. And while every one of those realities is deeply significant, all right, I'm not dismissing them, and sometimes deeply painful, they do not strip us of our power to choose. Powerlessness is not our default. It is something we are conditioned to accept when we forget how powerful we really are. Let me tell you something. No addiction, no heartbreak, no failure, no diagnosis, no generational pattern can fully steal your ability to make a new choice today. I need you to remember that. Even if you feel like you've messed up 1,000 times, you still have the right and the ability to make a new decision at this very moment. One of the great paradoxes is this. You cannot take away your power to choose. But here's the catch. You can forget it. All right? You can forget and drift into autopilot. You can forget and default into bitterness, anger, or resignation. You can forget and start saying, that's just the way I am. That's just the way I am. No, that's not who you are. That is who you chose to be. But forgetting is not the same as losing. Because you forget who you are doesn't mean you've lost your ability or you've lost who you are. You still have it. The power did not leave you. it's just got buried beneath excuses, beneath stories, shame, or false identities. But you can still dig it up, all right? You can reclaim it, you can repossess it, realign it, or realign with it right now. See, let's make something very clear. Choice is not the same as control, all right? Control is about manipulating outcomes. Choice is about owning your inner atmosphere, all right? You might not be able to control if someone loves you, but you can choose to remain loving, all right? You might not be able to control whether your dream job calls back, but you can choose to keep preparing and developing your skills. You might not be able to control what happened to you, but you can choose what it now means to you. See, we wear ourselves out trying to control, when what actually liberates us is reclaiming our choices. Control is exhausting, all right? But choosing wisely, that will energize your soul. Let's bring this down to the ground level. I'm not just talking about those big life-defining moments. I'm talking about little choices, everyday choices, the everyday ones. Because that is where I believe real transformation lives. Do you choose to drink water or another sugary soda? That's talking to me. Do you choose to check your phone first thing in the morning, or breathe first and pray first before you pick that phone up? Do you choose to speak kindly to yourself, or keep replaying a mistake that you made years ago over and over again? Do you choose to apologize or to steal in your pride? Those seems small, right? But together they create the architecture of your entire life. You are one choice away from your breakthrough every single day, and you are one better thought away from shifting your whole atmosphere. That I want you to take to the bank. When I say you have the power to choose, I'm not burdening you with guilt. I'm trying to remind you of your authority. See, responsibility is not a punishment, it is a privilege. Taking ownership of your choices gives you leverage over your life. So you stop waiting for others to fix you. You stop blaming the world for your unhappiness. You stop outsourcing your joy, your peace, your next step. No, you say, see, this is my life and I'm going to lead it on purpose. Let me tell you why this message matters so much. Because choosing creates momentum. It sets things in motion. It says to the universe, I'm ready. I'm engaged. I'm not sleeping through this life anymore. Even a small choice, when made consistently, has power to reroute your entire direction. Sometimes the difference between freedom and frustration is the choice you did not realize you could make. You chose to stay in bitterness instead of forgiving. You chose to numb yourself instead of facing it. You chose silence when truth was needed. You chose to delay instead of deciding. But here's the good news. You can also choose again. Every moment is an invitation to choose better. Not perfectly, but better. Not for show, but for growth. You see, you don't want to just choose randomly. You want to choose intentionally. And the best way to do that is to align your choices with your values. If you value peace, but you keep choosing drama, there is misalignment, all right? If you value integrity, but you keep choosing shortcuts, there is tension. If you value love, but your choices look like manipulation rather, there is conflict. Every choice either reinforces or erodes your identity. So I want you to ask yourself today, who am I choosing to become today? Ask yourself that again. Who am I choosing to become today? Because that is the real power of choice. It shapes you from the inside out. Let me leave you with this as we tie this episode up. You were not designed to be a slave to circumstances. You were designed to dominate. You are designed with dominion, not to dominate other people. Don't mistake that. No, but to master yourself. You are not a robot. You are not stuck. You are not too late. You are powerful, and today you get to choose who you will be. You get to choose who you be, how you will think, what you will release, and what you will reach for. Let that hit your spirit. Nothing in the universe can take away your power to choose, not even you. So start choosing like someone who is aware of their power of choice, because that is exactly who you are. You are someone who has power So choose your personal power today. Thank you for tuning in to Daily Mind Shift with Minister